Although in recent years, tougher laws have been enacted to protect Pennsylvania animals from unnecessary cruelty, there is still more that can be done. While some of this cruelty exists from gamblers betting on the lives of innocent creatures, other forms of neglect can take place in your neighborhood kennel. Let's spend a few minutes with Representative Todd Stephens to find out how he hopes to make Pennsylvania a safer place for these animals who can't always protect themselves. Representative Stephens, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
First, let's talk about House Bill 164. Can you tell us what that bill aims to do?
Sure. House Bill 164 criminalizes the possession of animal fighting paraphernalia. Currently, animal fighting is a felony, and it's illegal in Pennsylvania, but our law enforcement officers don't always come across a fight in progress. Many times they arrive on the scene of a place that would have been used for animal fighting, and there's the implements and the tools of the trade, so to speak, but no fight in progress, and right now they're powerless to do anything about it. This bill would make it a misdemeanor of the third degree and give them the tools they need to help protect our animals.
In this piece of legislation, how is animal fighting paraphernalia defined?
Sure, and it was important that we get that definition right. We certainly don't want to bring in folks who are, lawfully taking care of their dogs or training their dogs for sport. There are folks that do agility events with their dogs and things like that that need to be in top physical condition. So you certainly don't want to sweep them in with this and cast too wide a net. We were very careful. We worked with the industry in crafting a definition that really narrows this, and it's limited to those implements that are used for animal fighting. So the prosecutor is going to have to show that these implements were not used for a lawful purpose, that they were used in fact for animal fighting. And one of the classic examples, and at a committee hearing, the Humane Society provided sort of an example of this for us. They're almost razor blade-like knives, really, that you would attach to a rooster's feet, and they're used in cockfighting. And so those type of implements obviously have no lawful purpose. I mean, they're only used to facilitate this animal fighting, and those are the types of things that are prohibited under the bill.
So obviously then this bill is not just restricted to dog fighting, but also cockfighting and other type of illegal animal sport.
Absolutely. It is broad enough to cover all animal fighting. So, and that's the way our animal fighting law is written. Our animal fighting laws aren't just about dog fights or cockfights, but any type of animal fighting for sport, if you will. You see the harm that comes to these dogs in particular. We've just seen a couple recent raids of dogfighting operations in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So it is on the forefront of a lot of our minds right now, and you see just the horrors and really the tragic consequences for these animals, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Now, another piece of legislation introduced is House Bill 1196, called Misha's Law, and from what I understand, you have a personal story as to why you introduced this. Can you tell us?
Sure. We have a dog named Misha. We have two dogs, one named Piper, one named Misha. They're both rescued Labrador retrievers. They went to a kennel one day to just play with other dogs, and we dropped them off, and when I went back to pick them up, I was informed that Misha had been taken over to the vet to be stitched up in, I think, 4 different locations because another dog attacked her. And, I wanted to make sure that she was okay and healthy, and so I had asked for the other dog's veterinary records so that I could provide them to my vet, who's going to be caring for Misha, and make sure she's okay. And I was denied the opportunity to have those records. I was told, I couldn't have them. Then I asked for the other dog's owner's contact information so that I could contact them, figuring that they were a dog owner themselves. They would want to care for their dog, so maybe they'd be willing to help me here. And the kennel told me I wasn't entitled to that information either. So, I was a little frustrated by that process, and then ultimately decided I was going to enact legislation. So this bill will require kennels to ensure that all the dogs that are under their care have had recent rabies vaccinations, and it will require them to hang on to that paperwork for 7 days after the dog leaves the kennel. If there's a dog fight, they are required to notify the owners, provide any veterinary information that they have, as well as the contact information for any of the dogs involved in the altercation. And I just think this is common sense. I think that dog owners, frankly, want to look out for one another. They want to take care of the dogs, and this is just about ensuring that the dogs are taken care of in the event of an unfortunate incident.
Now, we only have a few moments left, but what are the penalties for this if this is not followed by the kennels?
Sure. The oversight falls under the Department of Agriculture, who governs our dog laws. So they'll be ensuring that these laws are complied with, and certainly the owners will have remedies against the individual kennels should they not comply with that type of remedy. They can certainly seek through the courts, if they'd like, that information, and the kennel will be forced to provide it.
All right, Representative Stephens, thank you very much for joining me. That's all the time we have for today's program. I'm Anthony Tezak. If you have any questions about what you've seen today or any other state government-related matter, Representative Stephens' contact information will be on your screen in just a moment. Please join us again next time for another edition of Legislative Report with Representative Todd Stephens.